At the heart of developing good habits is consistency, not perfection. It's incredible how wealth and success build up through the steady practice of small actions over time. As we work on these habits, our mindset gradually shifts. We become more confident and aware of our capabilities. Each small step we take lays down a path that wasn't there before. Once we create a solid foundation built on awareness, saving, simplifying, learning, investing, shaping our environment, finding stillness, and making intentional choices, we set ourselves up for the next stage in our journey. With clarity and consistent habits in place, we start to see the world differently. We notice things that others might overlook, recognize patterns, and feel those emerging possibilities. This is where opportunities begin to come into view, not with a loud bang, but quietly, waiting for someone prepared to take notice. In the next part of this journey, I want to dig deeper into how we can spot these opportunities, understand their implications, and choose the ones that could truly transform our lives. Opportunities are everywhere. It's those who take the time to recognize them that ultimately find success. Common fears or limitations that people often have. Somewhere along the path toward building a richer life, there comes this moment that nobody can avoid. It's the moment where you stand right at the edge of something new. It might be a new idea, a new opportunity, a new version of yourself, and there's this strange feeling that washes over you, a mixture of excitement and doubt, like two opposite winds blowing at the same time. Most people think wealthy individuals never feel that way, but they do. They've just learned to live with it long enough to move anyway. Taking a leap of faith isn't as dramatic as people imagine. It doesn't happen in a single heroic moment. Most of the time, it feels like you're simply nudging yourself forward, almost quietly, hoping you're not making a mistake. For some people, it happens late at night when the world is still, and they finally admit to themselves that they want more. For others, it's when life presses them a little too tightly, and standing still hurts more than moving. But no matter how it starts, that leap always carries the same ingredients: risk, fear, and the tiny spark of confidence that grows only after you use it. Fear is usually the first one to show up. It sits right beside you, whispering doubts that sound a little too believable. What if it doesn't work? What if you're not ready? What if you lose what you have? Fear always sounds like it's trying to protect you, but really it just wants to keep you where you've always been. It doesn't know anything about the life you're capable of building. It only knows the walls you've lived inside up to this moment. And then there's risk. Risk is not the villain people think it is. It's more like a test or a teacher. It asks you to decide how much you're willing to bet on yourself. Wealthy people aren't fearless, they just learned how to start with small risks. Tiny steps that let them practice being uncomfortable without falling apart. A beginner investor might risk a small amount. A new business owner might try a side project on weekends. A creative person might share their work publicly for the first time. These small risks, repeated over time, create something powerful: proof that you can handle more than you thought. Confidence doesn't appear before these things. It grows slowly behind them. It's the result of surviving the moments that scared you. Think of confidence like a seed that only sprouts when you step beyond your comfort zone. The first time you stretch yourself, the seed barely moves. The second time it cracks open. And then one day, while you're busy taking small, clumsy steps toward a better life, you look back and realize you trust yourself in a way you never did before. That's confidence, not loud, not flashy, just a quiet belief that you can figure things out. And the people who become wealthy don't take big leaps because they're brave. They take big leaps because they spent years taking small ones. They learned how to carry fear without letting it steer them. They knew how to understand risk rather than run from it. They realized that confidence is something you build, not something you're born with. And eventually, after enough steps, something shifts. What once felt impossible begins to feel like the next logical move. Maybe you felt that shift before in your own life, that gentle tug towards something better, a little idea that you tried to ignore because it made you nervous, a moment where you knew deep down that staying the same was slowly becoming more painful than trying something new. Those moments matter. They're the beginning of every leap you'll ever take. And when we look at the wealthy, the people we imagine living far beyond fear, we're really looking at people who simply learned how to move while afraid. They didn't wait for their nerves to calm or their doubts to disappear. They acted anyway, sometimes clumsily, sometimes quietly, but always forward. That's the part of the journey most people never see, the private hesitations, the late-night thoughts, the small decisions that felt enormous at the time. If you could watch their life in slow motion, you'd see something comforting. You'd see fear walking beside them, not behind them. You'd see risk being measured, adjusted, softened. You'd see confidence appearing long after it was needed. And you'd realize they aren't much different from you at all. And as you let your mind drift, maybe even soften a little with sleep, it's worth imagining yourself at that edge too and standing with your own blend of nerves and curiosity and feeling the weight of what you've been carrying and the pull of where you could go. You don't need the whole map right now, just a willingness to keep stepping, one tiny, gentle movement at a time. Because that's how every leap of faith really begins, not with certainty, not with perfect timing, but with a quiet decision to try. And once you understand that, the next part becomes much clearer. The first day. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you feel is stillness. That quiet moment before the world begins pulling at you is more valuable than most people realize. Wealth doesn't start with money, or big ideas, or luck. It begins with how you greet the day, with how you set the tone for yourself before anything else asks for your attention. The first step is simply noticing that you have a choice in these early hours. How you spend them, even in small ways, can shape the rest of your day, and your life, more than you might imagine. Start by grounding yourself. Sit up slowly, take a deep breath, and allow your mind to focus for a few quiet moments. Some people call this meditation, some call it reflection. It doesn't need to be complicated. Just noticing your thoughts, your feelings, and your intentions for the day sets a tone of awareness that ripples through every action you take. This small habit, repeated day after day, trains your mind to look for opportunities instead of distractions. It trains you to notice what matters and ignore what doesn't. Next, consider your goals for the day, not as a list of chores, but as a set of actions that move you closer to your long-term vision. Writing them down in a journal or notebook is powerful, even if it's just 3 small things. One could be learning something new, making a small investment of time or money, or connecting with someone who inspires you or supports your growth. Research shows that writing goals makes them more likely to come true, but the real magic lies in the reflection it creates. You begin your day consciously, not habitually. Then comes movement, not because wealth is only built by hard work, but because energy matters. Even a short walk, a few stretches, or gentle breathing exercises awaken the body and mind. Wealthy people often quietly highlight this. Clarity and focus come from being physically present in your body. When you move, your brain releases the right chemicals for attention and creativity, making it easier to notice possibilities you might otherwise miss. This isn't about becoming an athlete. It's about preparing your mind to think clearly and act decisively. Breakfast, or the first meal of the day, is the next opportunity. Nourish yourself intentionally. Don't eat just to fill the space. Eat to fuel your mind and your body. Some people use this time to learn too, listening to a podcast, reading an article, or reviewing financial news or personal growth material. Wealth isn't built in isolation. It's built by consistently learning, slowly expanding your understanding of money, people, and the world around you. Even 10 minutes a day adds up. As you move into work or your daily tasks, approach them with the same awareness. Whether you have a 9-to-5, a business, or are starting your own side project, think about how each hour can create value. Wealth isn't just about saving or investing, it's about creating something that others need or want. Every task, every interaction, every decision can be a step toward building that value if you notice it. Even small efforts compound over time when they are aligned with a bigger goal. Alongside action, practice reviewing your finances daily. This doesn't mean obsessively checking accounts or reacting to every movement. It means consciously seeing where your money goes and asking, is this moving me closer to my goals, or is it just passing through? Those who grow wealth understand this principle. Awareness of your resources is the first step to multiplying them. By keeping track, even lightly, you begin to spot leaks and opportunities you might have missed. Investments, savings, or putting aside a portion of income can also become part of your daily routine. Wealthy people rarely start with huge sums. They begin by making a small, consistent habit of allocating money to grow. It could be as simple as putting aside a little each day or scheduling an automatic transfer. The point isn't the amount, it's the pattern. Your mind begins to accept that part of your resources is dedicated to building the future. And over time, that simple habit compounds quietly and powerfully. Another daily practice is learning to prioritize long-term value over short-term comfort. It's easy to spend without thinking, to chase small pleasures, to respond only to impulses. But each day you can train yourself to pause before decisions. Ask, does this choice bring me closer to my life's vision? Sometimes it's small, choosing to save a small amount, deciding to take a call that inspires you, choosing to finish a task that grows your skills. Each of these tiny decisions may feel insignificant alone, but repeated daily, they begin to shift the trajectory of your life. Part of your day should also include connecting with people who expand your thinking. This might be a mentor, a colleague, a friend who challenges you, or even an online community of learners. Conversations, ideas, and shared experiences subtly shape the way you see what's possible. The wealthiest people often credit their network more than their individual brilliance, because the right connections introduce them to opportunities they couldn't have imagined alone. Finally, the day ends with reflection. Not judgment, not stress, not obsessing over mistakes. Simply looking back and asking, what did I do today that brought me closer to the life I want? Even a few minutes of thought, journaling, or quiet awareness reinforces the habits that matter. It trains your mind to notice growth rather than scarcity, to appreciate small wins rather than waiting for a giant breakthrough, and to prepare for tomorrow with intention rather than routine. When you string all these moments together, awareness in the morning, learning, intentional action, conscious spending, small investments, connecting with the right people, and reflection, you begin to see how wealth is created quietly, step by step, day by day. It's not a sudden magic moment. It's a life built from hundreds, thousands of small, deliberate actions that begin the moment you wake up and continue until you rest again. And the more consistently you practice this pattern, the more natural it becomes, until the journey to wealth is no longer something you chase, but a life you quietly live. The life you want. After your first day of deliberately building wealth, something subtle begins to happen. You've noticed your morning, paid attention to your actions, and started small routines that shift your awareness. The next step is to create a bigger picture, a plan that can guide you over weeks, months, and even years. Wealthy people don't just stumble into success. They plan, often quietly and meticulously, using principles proven over decades, and sometimes centuries, by people who built unimaginable fortunes. And you can start learning from them today. The first step is clarity. Before you can plan, you need to know precisely what you want, not vague ideas like "I want to be rich," but concrete, specific goals. How much freedom do you want in your life? How much money would allow you to stop worrying and start creating? What kind of lifestyle, experiences, and legacy matter to you? Billionaires often begin with clarity that feels almost simple, but it's the anchor for everything that follows. Write it down, picture it, feel it. Make it real in your mind before taking any other steps. Next is understanding your starting point. This is where most people hesitate because it requires honesty. Take stock of your money, skills, time, and network. What do you have to work with? What resources are underused? What knowledge can you build on? Billionaires always know precisely what they have before deciding what to do next. They don't ignore the gaps, they understand them. And that understanding is power because it shows you where the opportunities lie. Once you know where you are, the next step is to imagine multiple paths. Wealthy individuals rarely rely on a single strategy. They diversify not only money but also opportunities and thinking. Some paths involve starting a business, some involve investing, some involve creating intellectual property or developing skills that compound over time. Your plan should explore more than one avenue. Write down possibilities without judging them yet. Accept ideas for being too ambitious or too strange. The point is to map a landscape of potential, not choose a single route immediately. The fourth step is learning from the best. Billionaires from Warren Buffett to Elon Musk often study other people's decisions intensely. They read biographies, interview mentors, and observe markets. They track what has worked, what failed, and why. You can do the same. Pick a handful of people whose wealth or strategies inspire you, study what they did, and see which lessons could apply to your life. This isn't copying. It's understanding patterns, principles, and philosophies that guide decisions at the highest levels. The fifth step is to break your vision into actionable milestones. Huge goals can feel impossible, but tiny, measurable steps make them manageable. For example, instead of build a business that earns millions, your milestones could start with learning a skill, creating a side project, connecting with potential collaborators, and saving or investing small amounts. Each milestone is a stepping stone, something you can complete, something that moves you forward and builds momentum. Wealth is rarely one giant leap. It is hundreds of small, deliberate steps in the right direction. Then comes the principle of focus. Billionaires often emphasize that attention is more valuable than money. You can have time and energy, but only by directing them to the right things will you see results. That means eliminating distractions, unnecessary commitments, and even habits that don't align with your plan. Focus doesn't feel exciting at first, but it creates leverage. Your effort begins to compound in ways that scattered energy never could. Another critical step is understanding risk and reward. Every wealthy person you study has taken risks, but rarely reckless ones. They assess, they calculate, and they prepare. Part of creating a plan is identifying where you are willing to take calculated risks and where caution is necessary. This doesn't have to be complicated. It's simply writing down which actions could have high potential and which could harm you if mismanaged. Being deliberate about risk turns fear into a tool rather than a barrier. A further step is integrating habits and routines into your plan. The wealthiest people don't just plan once, they design their lives around consistent actions that align with their goals. Your plan should include daily, weekly, and monthly routines to train your mind, skills, and financial habits. These routines are invisible to the outside world, but they create the foundation for everything that comes next. Small, repeated actions over the years are the quiet engine behind massive results. Equally important is building a support network. Even self-made billionaires rarely act alone. They surround themselves with people who challenge their thinking, who offer expertise, and who expand their perspective. As you build your plan, note the areas where mentors, collaborators, or partners could accelerate your progress. Knowing whom to ask, when to listen, and when to act is as important as any action you take yourself. Finally, the plan must be flexible. The world changes, and so will your opportunities. Wealthy individuals rarely stick to one rigid path. They review, adjust, and adapt. Your plan should be a living document. Revisit it regularly, ask yourself what's working and what isn't, and be willing to shift direction when necessary. This isn't indecision, it's responsiveness. The ability to see what others don't, and to move where others freeze, is what separates those who build extraordinary wealth from those who simply dream about it. When you string all these steps together, clarity, assessment, exploring possibilities, learning from the best, setting milestones, focusing energy, evaluating risk, building routines, creating a network, and remaining flexible, you start to see how a complete plan to get rich can take shape. It's no longer a vague hope or a distant fantasy. It becomes a series of choices, decisions, and actions that you can take today, tomorrow, and every day after. And that is where real wealth begins, in the quiet preparation, the steady habits, and the deliberate steps that turn intention into reality. Your plan to wealth. By now, you've explored the insights, philosophies, and habits of individuals who have achieved extraordinary wealth. You've witnessed how small, consistent actions can lead to significant transformations. You understand that fear and risk are part of the journey, and that confidence is built steadily, one day at a time. Now, it's time for something truly personal. It's time for you to start crafting your own plan and carving out your unique path. Forget about following someone else's blueprint or trying to replicate the success of a billionaire you admire. This is about you, creating a plan that aligns with your life, your strengths, and your dreams. 1. Visualize your ideal life. Begin by taking a deep breath and allowing yourself to imagine your perfect life fully. Consider the details. Where do you live? What does your morning routine look like? How do you fill your days? Who do you spend time with? What freedoms do you enjoy? Make this vision as vivid and realistic as possible. Remember, wealth encompasses more than just money. It's about the lifestyle and experiences that financial resources can provide. The clearer your vision, the easier it will be to strategize how to achieve it. 2. Document your vision. After envisioning your ideal life, write it down. Focus on capturing your thoughts without worrying about perfection. Whether you choose to use paper, a journal, or your phone, articulate what success and fulfillment mean to you. Specify the work you engage in, the skills you utilize, the habits you adopt, and your financial goals regarding earning, saving, and investing. Putting your vision into words will reinforce it in your mind and prime you to recognize opportunities that may otherwise go unnoticed. Once your vision is clear, take stock of where you are now. This is your starting point. Be honest with yourself. How much money do you currently have? What skills, experience, and resources can you use? Who is in your network who might support you? What habits or routines help you? And which ones hold you back? Don't judge, just observe. Awareness is the foundation of change. Wealthy people constantly know where they are in relation to their goals, because without this understanding, even the best ideas can get lost. Now it's time to break your vision into steps. Think in layers. First the foundational steps, then the intermediate steps, then the longer-term milestones. For example, a foundation could be building a consistent income, learning financial literacy, or setting aside small amounts to invest. Intermediate steps might include starting a side project, expanding your skill set, or developing multiple streams of income. Longer-term milestones could consist of owning property, growing a business, or creating passive income that provides the freedom of time. Each layer supports the next. Step by step, brick by brick, your plan begins to take shape. Next, decide on daily and weekly actions. Wealth is built in habits more than bursts of effort. What will you do each morning, each day, each week to move closer to your goals? Maybe it's spending 15 minutes reading about finance, or 10 minutes reviewing your budget, or taking one action that increases your income or saves money. It could be reaching out to a mentor, testing a small business idea, or researching investments. The key is to make it practical, realistic, and repeatable. Small, consistent actions compound over time. Then assign priorities. You can't do everything at once, and wealthy people understand that focus is essential. Look at your steps and ask, which actions create the most impact with the least wasted energy? Which habits or projects will move you fastest toward your goals? Highlight those first. It's tempting to do everything, but focus allows your effort to compound in meaningful ways. Include checkpoints in your plan. Decide when and how you will review your progress. This could be weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Ask yourself, what worked, what didn't, what can I improve? Wealth is not linear, and your plan will need adjustments along the way. Review points allow you to pivot, refine, and grow without losing momentum. The plan becomes a living document, flexible and responsive. Next, plan for risk. Think about what could go wrong and how you will handle it. Wealthy people don't ignore risk, they prepare for it. Maybe it's building an emergency fund, perhaps learning a skill that protects your income, or diversifying your investments or income streams. Preparing for challenges doesn't mean you won't take leaps of faith, it just means you will move forward with confidence, knowing that you have safety nets in place. Then integrate learning into your plan. The most successful people never stop learning. Schedule time to read, watch, or listen to content that expands your financial knowledge, entrepreneurial skills, or personal growth. Even a few minutes each day add up over time. Knowledge doesn't just increase your skill, it changes the way you perceive opportunities, risk, and your own potential. Don't forget to include your support network. Identify the people who can encourage, guide, or hold you accountable. These could be mentors, peers, friends, or even online communities of like-minded individuals. Wealth is rarely created in isolation. The right network can provide insight, connections, and motivation you might never find on your own. And finally, make the plan personal. Your wealth plan should reflect your values, your strengths, and your life. It's not about copying someone else's path or achieving a number on a spreadsheet. It's about creating a life that feels meaningful to you. Adjust the plan to fit your rhythms, preferences, and natural abilities. This personal alignment is what turns a plan from a list of steps into a life you actually want to live. Once you have your plan drafted, spend a moment imagining yourself following it. Picture your daily routines, the small actions stacking up, the progress you will see over weeks and months. Feel the sense of control, of confidence, of possibility. This vision alone begins to wire your brain to notice opportunities, make decisions aligned with your goals, and act with purpose. And remember, the plan isn't set in stone. Life changes, opportunities arise, and your goals may evolve. That's okay. The purpose of the plan is to give you a structure, a framework, a way to move from intention to action. With it, fear becomes manageable, risk becomes calculated, and confidence becomes your companion. Step by step, day by day, your own path to wealth begins to take shape. So tonight, let your mind rest with this. Tomorrow, you wake not just to another day, but to a day with purpose. Take small, deliberate steps to actions that align with your vision. To build a life where wealth, freedom, and meaning are not just dreams, but the natural outcome of the life you design for yourself. And when you wake again, the plan waits, quiet and ready to guide you forward, one thoughtful choice at a time. Let's end this with a guided meditation. Begin by finding a comfortable position, whether seated or lying down. Allow your body to settle into a space that feels right for you, ensuring that you feel supported and at ease. Take a few moments to notice the points of contact between your body and the surface beneath you. Feel the gentle support enveloping you, and take a deep, calming breath in through your nose, allowing your lungs to fill. And then exhale softly through your mouth. Let go of any tension you may be holding onto. As you continue to breathe deeply, Focus your attention on your breath. Inhale deeply once more, counting to 4 as you fill your lungs. And now exhale slowly for a count of 6. With each exhalation, imagine releasing any stress or worries that have followed you through the day. Let them drift away, like clouds floating in the vast sky. Now allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. Notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Picture it as a gentle wave, lapping softly at the shore, bringing in calm and washing away concerns. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more grounded and connected to this present moment. As you settle into this state of awareness, I invite you to visualize a warm, golden light surrounding you. This light symbolizes peace, comfort, and positivity. With each inhale, imagine drawing this golden light into your body, filling you up with clarity and warmth. Hold onto that feeling for a moment, and as you exhale, let go of anything that feels heavy. Continue this cycle, breathing in the light and exhaling darkness until you feel completely enveloped in this serene glow. As you bask in this radiant warmth, let's take some time to reflect on your intentions. Picture a beautiful landscape, perhaps a lush green meadow, a tranquil beach, or a serene forest. This is your sanctuary, a space where you feel safe, empowered, and inspired. Observe the details around you, the colors, the sounds, the scents. Let this space reflect your aspirations and dreams. Now consider the goals you hold dear. What are the steps you wish to take toward achieving them? Focus on one specific intention that resonates with you right now. What would it feel like to embody that intention fully? How would your days change? Allow yourself to explore these feelings as you engage with your vision thoroughly. Visualize embarking on a journey toward this goal. Picture yourself taking those first steps. Maybe it's starting that project you've always wanted to pursue, committing to a healthier lifestyle, or nurturing a relationship. Notice the exhilaration and warmth that rise within you. Each step is filled with possibility. Trust that you have the resources and abilities within you to achieve what you seek. As you envision this journey, remember to be gentle with yourself. Growth takes time and progress often comes in small increments. Affirm to yourself, I am on a journey and every step I take is valuable. Feel this affirmation resonate in your heart and mind, anchoring you as you move forward. Let's take a moment to acknowledge the challenges that might arise on this path. Instead of fearing them, visualize embracing these challenges, understanding that they are growth opportunities. Picture them as stepping stones along your pathway, each one helping you to build strength and resilience. You are equipped to navigate hurdles with grace and determination. Now I invite you to shift your focus back to your breath. With each inhale, invite clarity and motivation into your being. With each exhale, release any lingering doubts or fears, allowing them to dissipate like mist in the sun. Feel the power of your breath as it keeps you grounded and present. In this moment, let's express gratitude for your journey thus far. Think about the lessons you've learned, the triumphs and insights that have shaped you. You are here experiencing this life, and each moment, every challenge, molds you into a more resilient and committed individual. Take a deep breath in, feeling gratitude fill you from your toes to the crown of your head. Hold it for a moment, and as you exhale, release any remaining negativity, making space for hope and excitement. As we begin to draw this meditation to a close, slowly start to bring your awareness back to the room around you. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes to reconnect with your physical body. When you're ready, take another deep breath, and then exhale, feeling rejuvenated, as if you're coming back to life. Allow yourself to gradually open your eyes and bring your gaze back to your surroundings. Take a moment to notice any changes in how you feel. You've taken this time for yourself to connect with your inner self, and that is a powerful gift. As you carry this sense of calm and purpose, remember that each day is an opportunity to pursue your dreams with intention and care. Embrace the beauty of the journey ahead. Thank yourself for taking this time to meditate, and be proud of every small step you take moving forward.